Yeah, we'll start off with the tough one way. It's Tanea Brooks, probably better known to wrestling fans as Rebel or as Reba from her time alongside Britt Baker in AEW, posted a video to social media earlier today revealing that she's been diagnosed with terminal ALS. This is some grim stuff. Tanea Brooks is only 47. She's had a 2-year medical ordeal trying to find out what's been wrong with her. Listeners might remember she had a diagnosis of pulmonary lymphoma, which is a rare form of lung cancer, back in November last year, and was getting treatment for that. She's also been experiencing neurological problems affecting her speech and ability to walk and move in other ways. She was awaiting surgery, and doctors at the Mayo Clinic finally got to the source of these wider issues. And as I mentioned, it's ALS, sometimes known as Lou Gehrig's disease. In my part of the world, it's more commonly known as motor neurone disease. It's a progressive, horrible, incurable condition. In the video, she's emotional but very composed. She thanks fans for their support. And specifically thanks Tony Khan and AEW for supporting her throughout this medical journey, calling it a blessing that is unheard of. So she's obviously been getting a lot of support from AEW throughout all of this. The closing words of this video, and it was a tough watch. She says, "Please continue to pray for a peaceful journey and a peaceful passing. I love you." So, I mean, I don't know what to say about this really, other than it's a hard one. She seems like a very, very beloved figure within AEW. She's got so much positive feedback from fans and co-workers and all of this, a lot of love for her, you know, and of course our thoughts are with her family, everybody who is close to her. I would just, before I throw to you away, you know, I was thinking about it because in some of the early medical stories, I was just reaching for library pictures of her as Reba or Rebel, and she's looking so fit up on the ropes with her arms outstretched and stuff, you know. So it's been hard. It's been tough to sort of see this deterioration in her health over the past couple of years.
Incredibly sad. Yeah, by far I would say the biggest story of the entire day. You know, she has been pretty upfront about just I think the hopelessness of not knowing what is happening to your body throughout this journey. Yeah. And to receive this news, probably maybe among the worst, you know, sort of like results you could get from all of it. At the same time, I hope there's some comfort in knowing exactly what is going on. And I think this is a really, really tough message for everybody to listen to, of essentially somebody announcing to the world that, hey, like, I'm going to die, you know. She, considering, yes, she did get the message out, but you can tell she had several takes of all of this. Yeah. And she, you know, by the end, of course, wasn't really able to hold it together and broke down, you know, as she was thanking Tony Khan. I can't imagine, as you mentioned, you know, Neil, like I've been watching her since her TNA days, and yeah, she's a former Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, you know, like the sort of vitality of somebody to be able to achieve something like that. And then to have only at age 47, you know, basically she had trouble speaking, you know, like she's already losing function with her talking, and also her, I believe her hand and just, soon to be worse, you know. It's really, really tough to see. This was really, really tough to hear, and you can only hope her final days are spent with comfort, with friends, with family, as much as possible. I do think it's worth noting, like she gave a lot of like thanks, and I believe her specific words were unheard of help from Tony Khan and AEW for support. And though she doesn't specifically state it, I have to imagine that might come in the form of some sort of, you know, financial support for what I imagine to be very expensive, you know, around the clock care for somebody with her condition. And that has to be commended, you know, that a company is willing to presumably, you know, take care of as much as she seems to be grateful for here.
It feels like the logical meaning of what she's saying about unheard of help. AEW and Tony Khan seem to have been very good to her, even in the early part of this, where it didn't seem as serious in the beginning. And when they were trying to diagnose what was wrong, it was first thought of some sort of fungal issue or something in the lungs. They transitioned her into the hair and makeup department at AEW. She was still very much employed by the company. She's still seen as part of the team to this day, so I think they've treated her really, really well, and that is absolutely to be commended. Yeah. It's a sad one. And I not to prolong this, but I've seen what this disease can do. There's a family friend of ours, and the deterioration. He is now in a wheelchair. There are treatments that can help to slow and manage the symptoms. So, it's people can do something, make their peace, and do things perhaps that they wanted to do before the end. Go on a cruise or this sort of. I'm talking about my family friends' experience at this, but it's a terrible diagnosis. So we obviously feel for her.
May actually happens to be ALS Awareness Month in the U.S. at least. So, yeah, I remember like the Ice Bucket Challenge, obviously from like several years ago. I don't know if that was a thing over
it was.
It was okay.
Yeah.
But despite all that, I mean, as Tanea Brooks mentions, it's still very little is known about this illness. So, incredibly unfortunate news.
Yeah.
If the Post Wrestling Cafe were to undergo a drug test in the month of May, we would be testing positive because we are overloaded with content. We are going to be reviewing Hulk Hogan, Real American, all 4 episodes this month. Plus, we will go inside the Manosphere with a review of the latest Louis Theroux documentary. We will also have coverage of the Ronda Rousey-Gina Carano fight, also taking place on Netflix. Rewind Away tackles WCW Super Brawl 2, and we cover NXT TakeOver Brooklyn from 2015. All that, plus all of the XL editions on a weekly basis, Collision Course, Daredevil Born Again, and so much more. It can all be yours at postwrestlingcafe.com. $8 gets you in the door.